I study evolution. So I study things that are over 3 billion years old in terms of life on Earth. And so life's been around for quite a while. Planet's about 4.5 billion years old. The Homo lineage is about 3 million. Modern humans are about 300,000. Agriculture is about 10,000. Science, parliamentary democracy, 300. America, 200, right? So we're dealing with relatively new phenomena in the history of the planet. And they were created in a certain context to deal with a certain problem. Certainly the US Constitution, which is something that I've studied, was created to deal with problems of despotic monarchs. That's part of the big deal. And now you could make an argument that that hasn't gone away.
And we're on our way back, trending back toward that.
We could be trending back towards that, and the Constitution might become more important than it was then, perhaps.
Absolutely.
But there might be periods where it wasn't so useful. And so I think reckoning with rule systems that are no longer adaptively appropriate, that's what the study of stupidity is about.
And it sounds like part of this is human beings or any kind of agent, any kind of actors within these rule systems having an inability or at least the difficulty of standing back from the rule systems, reflecting on the context and seeing if the rule systems are still fit for purpose. Because we continue on our path dependent where we've been doing this forever. We've been shaking hands. We've been, hugging when we see each other. Well, in a pandemic environment, that probably isn't the best thing to do.
Yeah, it gets to your earlier question about robustness and evolvability, which is what culture does well is transmit rule systems. Wisdom, real ideas that worked, that we are acquiring for free, that we're the beneficiaries of. So it's very important to understand that. So take science, for example. Science benefits from the accumulated understanding of the natural and cultural world. On the other hand, that inertia that's built into the system that's so important what has led to the resistance to new theories, right? So famously plate tectonics, obviously even more famously, the geocentric theory of our solar system. Right. Yeah. So there are good reasons to resist change because good ideas shouldn't be subject to tiny fluctuations in opinion. So how do we do that? And I think what stupidity is the name we give to the instantaneous misalignment of requirement and rule. And the question is, how do we fix it?
David, looking forward, how is Santa Fe Institute preparing for beyond the pandemic?
I think there's sort of two questions there. One is about our role in the culture as a producer of ideas and solutions. And the other is the internal structure of the Institute in terms of its viability, right? So for us, the most important thing is to be responsive to the crisis and generate the best science we can, right? And make sure that the science is true to the need. As I mentioned to you earlier, one of the very surprising consequences of this pandemic has been a significant increase in SF5s engagement with the world, both in terms of the adoption of its science, but our community. We have more participation now than we've ever had. By almost 3 to 4 times.
So David, you mean people from anywhere in the world who are logging in for your webinars, for your lectures, for your roundtables, which you have on a regular basis at Santa Fe Institute, but for the most part, they were in person before.
It's much, for example, we'd have a meeting on what might seem like a rather esoteric topic. And we have these meetings, every week. And we'd see the same people, plus or minus a few, member of our external faculty. But now we have parliamentarians. We have, directors of major banks. We have social activists. There's been it's not just the numbers, it's the diversity of people looking to complexity and presumably other forms of science and insight to help them with their particular causes.